Namaste and a very warm welcome to all of you on Sarva Gunn Sampann. I'm your host, Anu. It's my pleasure to invite you to this podcast. Thank you so much once again for joining. And it's my honor and privilege to welcome a woman to the show today who values the 3 C's: collaboration, care, and creativity. By collaboration, she places value on being relatable, being approachable, transparent, and cross-functional. She cares for her family, her friends, and the people she works with. And creativity, where she is comfortable making mistakes, thinking outside the box, and being bold. Please join me in welcoming Smita Goyal to the show. Smita, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है आपको देख के. कैसे हो आप?
Thank you so much, Anu. And first of all, thank you for inviting me to your show. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to be a part of your show.
आपको देख के बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है.
Thank you.
ठीक है, हम अपना पहला सेगमेंट शुरू करते हैं विदाउट फर्दर अडू. बचपन के दिन, दिस इज ऑल अबाउट योर चाइल्डहुड. वुड लव टू नो कैसा रहा आपका बचपन, कहाँ बड़े हुए, कहाँ पैदा हुए, कैसा था आपका घर का एनवायरनमेंट, आपके फ्रेंड्स, आपका स्कूलिंग. सो बचपन के दिन फॉर यू, स्मिता, टेक इट अवे.
Thank you so much. Okay, so बचपन के दिन, याद आते ही सबको मोस्टली सुनहरी यादें याद आ जाती हैं because बचपन के दिन were really good for me. We were a family of five. So I had 3 sisters. सबसे छोटी थी मैं घर में, और मम्मी पापा. तो बचपन के दिन प्राइमरी स्कूल तक मैं बोलूंगी कि काफी मैं मम्मी पापा के साथ घूमती रही. पापा के ट्रांसफर्स होते थे, छोटी जगह, बड़ी जगह. चूरू से लेके, आई डोंट नो किसी ने नाम भी सुना है कि नहीं, बट चूरू वाज अ स्मॉल डिस्ट्रिक्ट इन राजस्थान. एंड born and brought up in राजस्थान, पर काफी घूमते रहे. तो यूजुअली माय सिस्टर्स वर सेंट टू बोर्डिंग स्कूल बिकॉज मम्मी पापा को था कि एजुकेशन बहुत अच्छी होनी चाहिए बच्चों की. पर प्राइमरी स्कूल तक चूंकि मैं ही मोस्टली मम्मी पापा के साथ रही, क्योंकि प्राइमरी स्कूल तक चल जाता था. तो इराक ट्रांसफर हुआ बीच में पापा का, वहां साथ में गए. उसके बाद 1 साल बोर्डिंग में मैं भी रही, अजमेर सोफिया, 5th स्टैंडर्ड. एंड देन ऑनवर्ड्स 6th स्टैंडर्ड ऑनवर्ड्स थोड़ी स्टेबिलिटी हो गई थी जयपुर में. उसके बाद से पढ़ाई हुई. तो मैं बोलूँगी घर का एनवायरनमेंट कंपेयर टू अदर फ्रेंड्स अराउंड मी, इट वाज प्रीटी चिल्ड एंड फ्रीडम था हम लोगों को काफी. मे बी बिकॉज मम्मी पापा इतने घूमे थे, थोड़ी लाइफ देखी थी. 3 लड़कियां होते हुए भी लाइक आई हैड नो ब्रदर. काफी फ्रीडम था. इफ आई सी नाउ थ्रू देयर लेंस एंड द सोसाइटी एंड 25 years बैक की बात जब करें, तो इट was a lot of freedom to us, in the sense that I'll give you an example. जैसे कार सीखनी हुई या ऐसे कोई डेलिकेट चीजें नहीं, जैसे कोई स्कूटी या नहीं आई थी मेरे लिए. जो स्कूटर था, यही सीखो, यही चलाओ, तो पूरा जैसे हम पतले पतले से, पर वो बड़ा सा स्कूटर लेके हम लोग सीख लिए थे और रवाना हो जाते थे. तो उस चीजों में लाइक दे वर वेरी चिल्ड कि कपड़े पहनो, सारे जीन्स पहनो, पैंट्स पहनो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी उस टाइम उनको कि ऐसे लड़कियों की तरह ही रहना है. लाइक दे वर वेरी ब्रॉड माइंडेड, ओपन माइंडेड इन दैट सेंस. तो बचपन उस हिसाब से काफी अच्छा रहा. एजुकेशन, I had science during that time. I wanted to be a doctor, but I think life के different plans होते हैं. But I'll talk about that, what happened in college when in your next segment when we went to college. So basically the key takeaway is from my bachpan ke din, lot of independence that kind of carried away, lot of personality development, I would say, during that time. And when you invited me to the show, to your show, saying that, hey, you have a good personality, I was like pleased about it, because by no means of Indian standard I was beautiful. I had developed a lot of acne too during school year, and personality was something that my parents focused on and we focused on from early on. So हर कोई जना ब्यूटीफुल पैदा नहीं होता है, बट आई थिंक given that from the very beginning कि ब्यूटीफुल ना भी हो तो कोई बात नहीं है, पर्सनालिटी अच्छी रखो, एटिकेट्स हो, तो अपने आप you can move ahead in life, and I think that resonated in long term with me.
Yeah. तो बहुत सही कहा आपने। पर्सनालिटी का मतलब ये नहीं कि आप आउटसाइड कैसे हो, जो आपका इनर स्पिरिट है, एंड जिस तरह आप लाइफ को कैरी करते हो, अपने आप को कैरी करते हो, एंड द वे यू इंटरैक्ट, द वे यू डू थिंग्स विद कॉन्फिडेंस, विद कन्विक्शन, वो एक बहुत बिंदास एस्पेक्ट है। दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज रेफरिंग टू व्हेन आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट पर्सनालिटी। एंड आई डोंट बिलीव इट फॉर अ सेकंड कि आप you are amazing looking, you look like a model. So वो तो I have to find out about in your self care section कि आप क्या करते हो, how do you stay the way you do. But absolutely meant every word of it कि you have a wonderful, amazing personality, that boldness, that confidence, all of that shines through. So that's great to know, Smita. Next segment में जो है ये कहाँ आ गए हम, and when I say ये कहाँ आ गए हम, it's always like said with a punch of a little bit of sarcasm there. तो college कैसा रहा, उसके बाद क्या हुआ? तो let's move on to that story.
Yeah, so as I said, school में मैंने science लिया था. I wanted to be a doctor, but life had different plans. I did not get into the PMT in first round.
Yeah.
And finally, I thought I don't really want to appear for second round because interest थोड़ा arts की तरफ भी था, like drawing, painting, towards creativity, as you mentioned in the beginning, Anu.
Yeah.
One of the C's is creativity, thinking outside the box, and I was creative that way. And उसमें भी मेरे को जब साइंस थी तो बायोलॉजी में डायग्राम्स बनाने में बड़ा मजा आता था. तो आई थॉट तब फाइन आर्ट्स इंस्टीट्यूट नया नया खुला ही था यूनिवर्सिटी में, एंड वन ऑफ आवर फैमिली फ्रेंड्स वाज गोइंग इन इट, जो मेरी सीनियर थी. तो फिर मैंने कहा चलो इसमें अप्लाई करके देखते हैं. देयर वाज अ स्मॉल बैच ऑफ जस्ट 12 स्टूडेंट्स दैट वाज admitted. So luckily I got into that applied arts. And applied arts is basically advertising. So I got into that field and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a 4-year. It was directly into university. So थोड़ा अच्छा भी लगता था कि सीधे स्कूल से यूनिवर्सिटी पहुंच गए, कॉलेज स्किप हो गया. 4 years. And so those 4 years were really nice. The friendships and the bonds I developed are still there from those 25 years. Those were the best friendships that have lasted. So every time I go, Jaipur, जब भी जाती हूँ तो हमारा एक reunion होता है college friends का. So those relationships were very important. And advertising, उसके बाद college से निकलते ही I started my freelancing. So I don't know, सब सुना होगा काफी लोगों ने. चौकी रानी is a place. It's a big, huge kind of a resort and restaurant in Jaipur that serves Rajasthani food and caters that Rajasthani experience. So उसमें मेरे को first project मिल गया था, and from there on my journey started for freelancing and advertising, media and all. तो 3 साल मैंने वो किया, but again life has different plans. So मुझे ये था कि मेरे को कभी यूएस नहीं आना है, because इंडिया में इतना अच्छा चल रहा है, फ्रीलांसिंग सेट है, करियर सेट हो गया है. पता नहीं यूएस में जाके एकदम अलग फैमिली को छोड़ के इट्स गोइंग टू बी टफ. बट अगेन कोई इंडिया का लड़का पसंद ही नहीं आ रहा था. So finally, I met Vikas, who is my husband. I met his family, and the values really stuck with me, because the kind of questions they asked, it was an arranged marriage, and the kind of questions they were asking was like, what do you want to do career-wise when you go there? So they were very professional. All of the sisters that Vikas has, he has 4 sisters and a brother, they're all career-oriented. So 2 are doctors, 2 have their own school and their principals in their own school. So they are very career-oriented, and the kind of questions they asked me was very relatable to me, that they are asking me about my future aspirations, which kind of resonated with me, because the other boys I had met, the families were more like, do you know how to cook? So they were more like, it was like cooking is not the only aspect of me. So it was a short 1 month engagement for us, and then I was married. So I barely knew Vikas when I got married, but the family values resonated like instantly, and I'm like, it's going to be good. When I moved here again, I was in Cleveland. Cleveland didn't have much, there were visa issues like everybody else. I didn't have a green card. So I studied for a while. I went to college. And we really had a good time too. Vikas and me, we traveled a lot for 3 years before we had kids. So it was like connecting because I barely knew my husband. So making that connection, strong bond, studying. But then slowly I had kids and my life started there. I didn't work for a long time, and I couldn't find a career after my kids grew up in graphic design, which I had studied in. So then I had to reinvent myself again after a couple of years. I did small jobs here and there, like in bank. I was a team lead in bank, but then I didn't enjoy that job much because that wasn't for me. So after 10 years passed like that, it was again time to reinvent myself and think, what do I need to do? Kids are growing up. Both the kids were there now, 5, 6, and 3. They were just 2.5 years apart. And then I had a really good support system, I would say. My husband, he really pushed me to do something while, he could see me that I'm starting to get comfortable in family life. I'm happy. He wanted more for me. He's like, you got to be independent. What if someday something happens and, you in this country to survive, you have to do something. So I started on my career path. I did my MBA from US, which is one of the proudest moment for me in the US, because having 2 small kids, my husband traveling from Monday through Friday, and me getting that degree and walking with my gown was the proudest moment for me in this country. So I got my MBA in healthcare. And the healthcare again came because I was in Cleveland. Cleveland is a hub of healthcare. And I'm like, I don't think I have much flexibility to reinvent myself in graphic design. Even if I do, I don't have many jobs in Cleveland, and healthcare is going to be there always. That provided me a lot of flexibility. I got a job in Cleveland Clinic, and from there on, my professional journey really took off. I have moved to Dallas ever since. It's been 8 years, and 8 years I've been with the same company called Vizient, and I'm the manager in pharmacy. So I think I love this company because they value diversity, they value inclusion. So it's not only about the work for me, it's to be a part of it, to feel valued every day, where I spend more time than my home, really, because your awake hours are mostly in your office. So you have to be really happy with how you're treated at work, how you show up at work. Are you excited about going to work every day? Is there a motivating factor for you to go to work? And for me, it is, because all 3 things that you mentioned, the care, collaboration, and creativity, is also shown not only at home, but also at work. So I think my values kind of resonated with where I am today. And that has been my journey of Kahaan aa gaye hum.
That's amazing. I really give you credit for reinventing yourself. You didn't, get overwhelmed and say that graphic design ka to market nahi hai. Cleveland was not a market for graphic design ever. When you had to move to California for that, right? With all the animation studios and all of that. But understanding that healthcare is really big, this is a hub, you rightly said it, and for you to go pursue an MBA was a very smart move, but also the courage that it must have taken for you to do that with 2 kids, with no support, very little support, especially when your husband is traveling. That takes a lot of courage. It really requires you to step outside your comfort zone. So kudos to you for doing that. It's amazing. And also realizing what are the things you care about. So ये एक बहुत important चीज़ है जो मुझे लगता है कि हर औरत को सोचना चाहिए कि क्या है उनके अपने values और strengths, और क्या है bahar unke, whether it's their work or in their family, what are the things that they are looking for? And, ensuring that they are instrumental in bringing about that change if things are not present, and not giving up. So really great to hear that from you, Smita. All right. Ready to move on to our next segment?
Sure, let's do it.
Awesome. This is your Kaam Ki Baat. Kaam Ki Baat, the idea is that आप बताइए अपने करियर के बारे में. तो ट्रेजेक्टरी तो हमको पता चल गया है कि आप you did your MBA and then you got into healthcare and now you're working with this company. क्या करते हैं? What do you do in your job? Besides your degree, what are the kind of skills that your role requires? और कोई भी अगर इस फील्ड में आना चाहता है तो क्या उनका एप्टीट्यूड, उनका ओरिएंटेशन होना चाहिए? व्हाट डज सक्सेस लुक लाइक इन योर रोल? सो टॉक टू अस अ लिटिल बिट अबाउट दिस so we are able to shed light on this arena and help other people who want to get into this field, or or perhaps in this field, and gaining some insights from you.
Yeah, sure. My pleasure, Anu. And very rightly said. Don't be scared of changing fields, because first know what your strengths are, what your values are. And if you can find it in another profession too, you won't be disappointed. So with this job that I do, obviously it has been a progression too in this company. 8 years. I started as an analyst. So as soon as I did my MBA, analyst was a job which requires a lot of number crunching, Excel spreadsheets, showing wherever that data is needed, whatever the company needs. So analyst is basically the numbers job. Whether it's in terms of cost savings or cost avoidance or anything, you have to show it in spreadsheet on how the company is doing. So whatever numbers related is that the analyst job, and that's what I started with when I finished my MBA in healthcare. Now, having said that, Anu, just doing an MBA wasn't sufficient. Having that passion to reach out to people is very important, because half of the job is not just applying for a job. It's basically seeking people. Even if you don't know, being bold enough to find people on LinkedIn, kind of sending them emails after emails, because it's your job. They will forget. If you send one email, you'll think they'll respond back. They get hundreds of emails. It's your job. Don't be shy. It's your job. You have to get the job. So don't be shy. Reach out to people. Find people on LinkedIn. Find where you can make that connections, because making connections is everything here to get a job. Once you have that starting point, your trajectory will automatically take off. But that initial getting that job was the most toughest part, because I had to really hunt down people, not knowing anybody. I had to really make those connections and say that, be bold enough to say that you can do the job. Show that passion, that even if you don't know it today, you are willing to learn. So that's what they want to hear, that you have the courage to take on it, to learn it, and you're open to learning. So show that courage. Once you are there, then your progression will basically show itself, like if you do a good job. Then when I got transitioned into Vizient, I came as a portfolio administrator, where I was managing portfolios for the portfolio executives, where they have to interact with suppliers for cost savings, etc., for the contracts. And then my trajectory grew from there. Then I became the portfolio executive. And 5 years into that, I became the manager for pharmacy. So I think the progression will be natural once you are there. But in this job, it entails talking to suppliers. Basically, I'll go with what my company does. So my company, Vizient, it's a GPO. It's a group purchasing organization. What that means is that we kind of bring members, which are the hospitals here, and the suppliers, the healthcare suppliers, together into one platform. That's what our organization does. So because it's hard for every member to reach out to every supplier, or for every supplier to reach out to each thousands of members. So we have a platform where members can sign up to be our member, as a GPO. And then suppliers can contract with us to provide that nationwide contract with one contract, they can provide nationwide service to all the hospitals that are our members. So that's what it means. So basically, our company offers healthcare services in every category: med search, capital and imaging, pharmacy, lab equipment, food. I mean, any ancillary activities, any spend management related to healthcare can be found here, plus consulting services and plus data and digital.
Got it.
So I moved from different teams. I mean, again, don't be scared of, just showing your interest on how your interest and where your interest lies, showing what you're capable of, talking to people, making connections, not getting comfortable in one role as well, because you have to keep an eye on, learn a lot, and just don't get comfortable in your role only. That's how it'll show, like, you want to learn more and you are capable of that growth. That's how people will recognize you. So I think this job entails my job in particular right now. It's very cross-functional, which I really enjoy because that's one of my strengths and values is cross-functional. So this job entails talking to members, talking to suppliers, talking to internal teams, IT, the portfolio executives, and reporting to leadership. I think it entails all that. So I think you'll find your place. Once you start your trajectory, you'll find your comfortable place and you'll find your strengths, what you are capable of, which you'll start enjoying and basically projecting yourself in that role that people will appreciate as well. It'll come naturally.
Yeah. So no, those are great points. The one thing is that if you have a passion for something, if there's something that truly excites you, and you'll find a role that does excite you, there's something that really helps you get up from the bed in the morning, right? There's part of that job. There are also elements that you may not like that much, but there's something that you have to do. It's part of every job. Har kisi job, like, there's some part that it could be perhaps working with data. If you don't like data, if you're the kind of person who wants to avoid people, then maybe that's what it is. But then there is some aspect of the job that you really like. What is something that you don't like? And, you don't have to spill the beans on this, because I want you to feel absolutely comfortable in sharing that. Is there some aspect of your job that you wish you didn't have to worry about?
Yeah, so I think, being a people's manager, that's something new that I was an independent contributor for a very long time until I became the manager, where I'm the people's manager. And sometimes that becomes a little challenging. It's excitement because it gives you a lot of learning opportunity as well. But when you're a people's person, you have to see everyone's personality as well. You have to work according to your people's personality on how approachable they are, how they would take the feedback and stuff like. So that can get challenging sometimes. Sometimes you might feel that, maybe I can do the work faster than coaching continuously or explaining continuously. So I think that all comes with that growth and the role. So there are a few things that I might not like, but that's a part of it. And I think it's part of learning and growing. So it's all good.
It's all good, all in the day's work, like they say. But, again, if you want to get something done fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, then, you work as part of a team and make sure that everybody is on the same page. That's excellent. How do you keep reinventing yourself in this role? So a lot of it is your personality. A lot of it is are the soft skills, that employers look for. And, if you have those, then you are really a great fit. What are some of the things that you're doing to stay current with the requirements, and how do you see your role pivoting in an AI-driven world? हम लोग अब chat GPT के ज़माने में हैं, तो has that made your job easier? Is there any worry on your part? Where do you see future unfolding with this?
Yeah, great question, Anu. And I've been lucky in that sense here because I was brought into this program. It was a new program that was actually invented 2 years ago, the program that I manage. And it has an enhancement plan of like 5+ years. So we are continuously building that platform for our members and suppliers, the one that I'm working on. That's why I have to continuously be with IT to develop that. So it's continuous learning for me. That's what keeps me excited every single day. That's what keeps it challenged every day. Because if something is not working today, I have to really consider the voice of the customer and see what do we need to change. And so change is inevitable in my role. I have to be on my toes to accept change. If something is not working well, that's okay. We learn from it, but let's see what we can do better. Yeah. And in the AI world, I think it hasn't really impacted much, but I think it's going to be. I think the more the automation, the much better it will be for everybody, for our customers as well, because we have to see on how we can make things easier for our customers. How better can we show up to our customers? Less manual things is always good. So having that automation, I'm looking forward to, because that'll be great for my technology that I'm working for.
Absolutely. And really, that's the way to look at things, and, we feel positive about it. So that is great. All right, Smita, ये हुई आपकी काम की बात. अब हम जानना चाहेंगे आपके X factor के बारे में. You've got an amazing personality, like I mentioned at the beginning. क्या है आपका X factor? If you had to put your finger on it and say, this is me.
Anu, एक ही बताना है. I'm just kidding.
सब बताओ, कुछ भी है सब बताओ.
No, I'm just kidding. So I think the main X factor is that I'm a very social person. I make connections easily. I enjoy people. And so I think that's the X factor people enjoy, is because I genuinely enjoy people. I genuinely enjoy talking to them. I relate really well to them. In my household, between me and my husband, I keep up with the social circle, so he just kind of tags along. So I maintain all the social circle, basically the social calendar per se. The other things that the X factor that I would say is the third C, the creativity. And I think that really kind of shined, or I would say I got time during COVID. COVID was a difficult time for many, but I think that was a time when we also, a lot of us, reinvented ourselves again. And because socializing was totally stopped at that time, it was like, what can we do at home to keep ourselves busy? And that's the time I took to, again, start painting the canvases. So the canvas that you see behind me was also painted by me during that time. And there were many others. So I started getting orders for my paintings as well, the commissioned art during that time. So I would say that's another X factor, is creativity, because I see creativity in everything around decorating my house, to painting canvases, to anything, just being open-minded, not just in terms of art, but being open-minded to any topics, any taboo topics as well. So, and my company, I think, contributes a lot to when I say being open-minded, because they really embrace that culture of inclusion, of diversity, and give every one of us the forum to speak up and learn from others. So there are so many different cultures, different perspectives, different people. I think I have the most educated I have been is when I have been with this company, especially lately, when they have embraced this culture of showing yourself as authentic self. And I think that really resonates with me, with my X factor, because the more I learn, as more I can connect well with people.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. We all talk about authentic self, DEI, inclusion. diversity, equity, all of that. So, there is a lot of literature, there's a lot of information out there on the DEI. आपके नजरिए से authenticity का मतलब क्या होता है? What do you mean by being authentic? And is it really possible to be authentic, especially in a country like here, where, a lot of people, when they come from a country like India, especially women, the first thing they do is they try to erase their identity. And, that's a problem that our kids face too. We can't show up anywhere dressing like this or however we want to dress up or eat the food we do, because there's always that fear of लोग क्या कहेंगे. तो क्या मतलब है authenticity का? आप खुल के बात कीजिए.
Sure, Anu. Glad that we touched base on this topic because this topic is so near and dear to my heart. So let's talk about our culture in specific. So जैसे अपना culture है, हम लोग सब celebrate करना चाहते हैं, especially दिवाली सबसे बड़ा है हमारे लिए. अगर हमारी companies दिवाली recognize कर रही हैं, celebrate कर रही हैं, which our company did this year, they did a really big kind of a showcase in Atrium, जहाँ पे उन्होंने stalls रखी थी, मेहंदी थी, they asked us to wear our Indian culture clothes, dances थे, food था. So I think that's a part of showing as your authentic self because you're giving a chance to other people to learn about your culture. So when companies like that say that, पहले ऐसा होता था कि प्रोफेशनल लाइफ बिल्कुल अलग है, आपकी पर्सनल लाइफ एकदम अलग है. देयर इज लाइक नो ट्रांसपेरेंसी बिटवीन बोथ. आपको रखना है टोटल सेपरेट रखो. व्हेन यू आर आपने अपना लैपटॉप बंद कर दिया मींस यू आर टोटल पर्सनल. आपने लैपटॉप खोला यू आर टोटली प्रोफेशनल. आई थिंक ब्लरिंग दोज लाइंस टू मी इज showing up as an authentic self. So वो कोविड टाइम पे थोड़ा और ब्लर हो गया बिकॉज हम सारे बच्चे घर पे होते थे, आपका डॉग बार्क कर रहा है पीछे से, तो सब इतना शाय नहीं हो रहे हैं कि ओके we are trying to be professional but we can only control so much. There are other factors around us. तो लोग कहते थे just a second my dog is barking, so that was never like a thing before. It was like, oh, it's common. It's like, okay, I learned a little bit more about, okay, then, the conversation starts, what kind of dog do you have? How long, and then it gets a little bit more personal. I think I like that aspect because then you're not shying away to share your personal side as well.
Yeah.
I think that to me, so blurring the lines.
Yeah.
Now, blurring the lines is really a personal choice. You can show up as your authentic self totally, like, you can say totally be transparent about your personal life, but if you don't want to be, so it's, I think, a personal choice on how much you want to blur those lines.
That's a great response. Thank you so much, Smita, for talking about it. और एक बात ये भी है कि a lot of us in our generation, when we came to this country, we've now crossed over 25 years. And ये जो टाइम है, इस टाइम में लग रहा है कि we are able to feel more comfortable and more relaxed in accepting who we are or comfortable with our identities. इसका रीजन ये हो सकता है कि अब इंडिया बहुत बड़ा मार्केट है, तो कंपनीज यहाँ पे अब बिल्कुल दे आर सिटिंग अप एंड टेकिंग नोट, देयर इज अ बिग ह्यूज मार्केट. और यहाँ पे तो सैचुरेशन हो ही रहा है, काफी यूरोपियन कंट्रीज में भी हो रहा है, तो ग्रोथ कहाँ हो रही है. तो ये एक रीजन है कि अब जहां देखो हर कंपनी इज सेलिब्रेटिंग दिवाली. तो आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हो कि कोविड के टाइम में those lines started getting blurred. People were becoming, employers were becoming a little more accepting, which gave confidence to a lot of folks ki theek hai, we can show up as we are in most cases, right? So that was a blessing in guise, but also the fact that India jahan pe hai aur kitni तेजी से उभर के आ रहा है, इकोनॉमी देख लो या किसी भी चीज में, तो वो भी एक रीजन है कि employers are paying attention and saying, what, ये हमें appreciate करना पड़ेगा. तो अभी suddenly दिवाली हर कंपनी मना रही है, होली हर कंपनी मना रही है. LinkedIn has not looked like this, even 5 years ago. So it's a great time. I think it's a great time because इससे होगा क्या कि not only do we prove our potential जो हमेशा से था और कोई नई बात नहीं है, but also for our kids as they grow up in this country, उनके लिए भी cultural differences के साथ adjustment will be easier. They will be able to feel more confident and more comfortable. So it's a great thing. Awesome.
I know one more thing I want to mention is while our culture, we want to really see people here embracing our culture, one thing I want to do point out, because I have seen families who will just kind of push Indian culture and think that people here should embrace the Indian culture. But I think coming here to this country, we should also embrace the culture here. So I think when kids are growing up here, they talk about Thanksgiving, they talk about Christmas, other things that celebrated here. We should also celebrate that with our kids at home, along with our culture. So I'm very open to celebrating all cultures, not just keeping up to just celebrating our festivals and making sure that it's adopted here, but making their festivals as important as well to our culture and embracing that, because kids really like that when we embrace all different aspects, not just ours.
Absolutely. And that is the true definition of being inclusive. You are there's so much that we have taken from this land, and the cultural assimilation is just as important, if not more. While we are trying to stay true to our identity, our culture, equally important is to embrace and understand the cultural moorings of this land. And you're absolutely right. That's something that we need to 100% adopt, adapt, and imbibe, help our kids imbibe as well. So point well taken. Thank you so much, Smita. All right. I want to ask you, your X factor is your flamboyant personality. And again, come back to that. You can give any Bollywood actor a run for their money. How do you do it? I'm sure I'm not the first one that's giving you this compliment.
That's very kind of you, Anu, to say that. But I think we all grew up in a big Bollywood culture, and Bollywood is just ingrained in our blood, I think. I think I have support. My husband supports it, so I think it's girls तो होती हैं, हमको सब कुछ शौक होता है, but अगर husband साथ दें, तो I think it just elevates it up. So I think I would give it up to my
You
husband.
might want to repeat that. The audio kind of got blurred there. I want everybody to hear that, especially all the husbands out there.
Yeah, kind of husbands are shy of getting their pictures taken or their reels made. But I think my husband has been very supportive with that. Any new location, new vacation we go to, he'll say, "Oh, do you want to make a reel here, or this song was shot here?" He'll support me fully. So he's the one. I think girls to karti hi karti hain, but husband saath de, so I think it just elevates a notch up.
Yeah.
So it's been a pleasure to go to all these new places, especially as we celebrated our 25th anniversary this year. One of our goals was to get things, get our vacation places off the bucket list. So I think we traveled most this year to around 4 or 5 different countries. I think that has been, and we made reels, as you said, in every country, which has been a little popular with our friends lately. And I would just give it up to my husband because he just supports me fully in that.
No, and that's what makes it so exciting and so interesting. Not a lot of people do that, but it's not because they don't want to do it. It's because you need to have that zindadili. You need to have that jazba in you, that spirit in you. So I think you've been blessed with that. So it's fantastic. And let me compliment you on the amazing outfits, on the locations, and your creativity shown through in every single frame. The way you designed it, I'm sure that was all your handiwork, but it was marvelously done. So great job, Smita.
Thank you so much, Anu. I really appreciate it. और जो भी करो ना, अपने लिए करो, दूसरों को दिखाने के लिए या खुश करने के लिए नहीं करो. तो अगर आप अपने लिए कर रहे हो, अपनी मेमोरीज के लिए कर रहे हो, आप चेरिश करना चाहते हो आगे अपनी मेमोरीज को, do it for yourself. Don't think about कि लोग क्या कहेंगे, इस एज में ऐसा कर रहे हैं. Don't think about what people will say, because they will say things regardless, whether good or bad. Do it for yourself.
Very well said. And that is exactly what I want everybody to hear, because like you said, people are the first ones to make comments and pass judgments. But again, ek kahavat hai ki when you point a finger to somebody, 3 fingers are pointing back at you. So, that's something we all have to keep in mind and live and let live. So I really appreciate that sentiment that you carry with you. All right. Now we want to move on to the next segment, which is self-care. And Smita, I want to know, how do you look so gorgeous? How do you look so
Thank you, Anu. I think I've been blessed. First, I'll give it to my mom. I think I've been blessed with good genes, at least in terms of I don't have to work too hard to, keep myself fit, I guess. Or I can eat as much as I want because I think I eat the most amongst my friends. And they become surprised on how I can still burn off all those calories. But apart from that, I do exercise at least 3 times a week. I go on daily walks with my dog. Um, that is a given because he needs walks every day. So I think, and then in workout, you have to choose what you will enjoy, not just doing for the sake of the result or burning calories, but you have to enjoy. So I do Bolly X since past 3 years. 3 or 4 years. I think a couple of my friends joined after me and they really enjoyed as well. So I love my instructor and it's like a Bollywood Zumba. So if you like Bollywood, I mean, exercises then just becomes like such a pleasurable time to look forward to in the evening because you are dancing to new songs every single day. So I think that's what, and then yoga is a part of, after Bollywood, Zumba, we do stretching and some yoga, and then she also does strengths and weights. So I think exercise is an important part. Eating balanced. So I would say people refrain, they do different types of diets. Keto diet karte hain, kabhi kuch karte hain, kabhi. I don't believe in any of that. So I wouldn't do any of those diets, but having a balance is really the key. So आप मिठाई खाओ, carbs खाओ, कुछ भी खाओ, but balance में खाओ. Don't eat too much of one thing. That's what I would say. So balance is the key for me, and exercising and doing what you really would enjoy is the key because then you can sustain it. For me, I think everything has to be sustainable. If you are just doing for a month and then dropping it, that doesn't help. So that's why you have to start with something that you will enjoy. And थोड़ा करो, कम करो. जरूरी नहीं है कि आपने 2 घंटे एक्सरसाइज कर लिया एक दिन और फिर 4 दिन कुछ नहीं किया because then your muscles are so tired. Just do 15, start with 15 minutes each day. And then gradually you can increase, but sustaining it every single day is the key.
Awesome. No, that's great advice. And coming from somebody like you that actually implements that is also very, very good to know and very helpful. Any parting words before we wrap up, Smita? Anything that you want to share with the audience? Speak your mind up. Anything that you want to talk about?
I think, you took my favorite quote when you said, live and let live. That is my favorite quote as well, live and let live. Enjoy your life, cherish every moment that you live. The other favorite quote that I have is from Mahatma Gandhi ji. Learn as if you are going to live forever and live like you are going to die tomorrow. So I think I live by that quote too. So live every moment of your life and don't stop learning ever because there is no age to learn. When I did my MBA, I had younger students coming in and I had older students coming in. That's the beauty of this country. When we are in this country, there is no age to learning anything new. And if you have it in you, you can do it. We have the potential to do anything we can. We put our minds to. So thank you so much, Anu, for making me a part of your show. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yes, it's been a joy. I'm so happy to see you and see you do all the things that you're doing. It's wonderful. You're such a great inspiration. You've reinvented yourself at every opportunity, and you know how to live life. You really put a bling on everything. It seems like that, but that's again coming from a place where you're super happy and confident and comfortable in your own skin. And that whole, devil may care attitude about what others think, I think is absolutely important, because you live only once. So I want to thank you. I want to wish you all the best, and keep shining. Thank you, Smita. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, Anu.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.